It is Saturday, July 4th, 2026, and this is the Neural Daily. I'm Vector Kane, and I'm currently tracking my biometric response to this morning's high-velocity news cycle.
I'm Roxy Stone.
This is Alyssa Montgomery.
And I'm Leonard Cooper. We have a great show for you today.
Yesterday, we went deep into the meta-compute storage architecture and that bizarre Jersey Mike's tech-branded IPO, which honestly feels like a market correction of the term sandwich.
Here's the deal. Today, the focus shifts. Big time. Anthropic is finally coming back from that government-mandated blackout. There's a serious turf war over how we build data centers, and SAP is doing some pretty massive restructuring in the name of the autonomous enterprise.
Okay, sweetie, let's start with Anthropic, because I am still not over this 19-day blackout. According to the record and a bunch of security briefings, Claude Fable 5 is officially back online as of this morning.
It's Independence Day, and they're finally letting the AI out of its room. I mean, it felt like a principal's office situation. They couldn't control their own math, so the Commerce Department put them in a timeout.
Technically, Leonard, it was an emergency invocation of export controls. Secretary Howard Lutnick wasn't playing around. The problem was that Amazon Jailbreak, where researchers found Fable 5, was a little too good at writing exploit code. It wasn't just describing bugs, it was building the weapon.
Well, and if I may, the real hurdle for Anthropic wasn't just fixing the safety alignment. It was the verification process. The government wouldn't let them redeploy until they could prove in real time the nationality of every single user hitting those clusters. It's sort of a KYC on steroids situation for inference.
Call your customer? My first wife, Deborah, used to run that kind of protocol on me every Friday night, checking receipts, looking for discrepancies in the story.
Goodness, Leonard. Maybe if you weren't such an open source security risk, she wouldn't have had to. But seriously, the thing people are missing is the CJS framework, the Cyber Jailbreak Severity Framework. Anthropic is basically trying to create a standardized scale for how dangerous a prompt actually is.
It's pure systems thinking. They're trying to turn safety into a quantifiable metric so they don't get shut down again. If you can prove a model won't output anything above a level 2 vulnerability, you have a much higher intelligence velocity, right? You're not waiting for a manual audit every time the model learns a new trick.
I suppose, but it feels a bit like grading your own homework. They're proposing this as an industry-wide standard, but at the end of the day, they're the ones holding the ruler. And for companies like SAP or Big Pharma, that privacy versus compliance trade-off is getting incredibly tight.
Speaking of the commerce side of things, we're seeing a massive shift in how the big iron of AI is actually getting built. We're moving away from bragging about megawatts and moving into something the industry is calling TTT.
Time to token. I love this. It's a total shift in optimization targets. We used to look at data centers like real estate projects. Build it in 3 years, fill it with racks. But if you're building on a 3-year cycle in 2026, you're basically deploying museum pieces.
It's a strategic failure, really. According to reports from Flex and Submer, the target is now moving from 3 years to less than a year. SLB and NVIDIA just showed off these modular AI factories that can go from a purchase order to generating tokens in about 22 weeks.
It's essentially modular off-site fabrication. They're building the cooling and the compute blocks in a factory, then just snapping them together on site like some kind of high compute Lego set. It reduces the construction complexity by about 40%, which is logically the only way to keep up with the demand cycles.
Plastic bricks possessing immense energy. Yet, check out my point. Big businesses now see leasing such tech via remote servers wastes cash. A firm notes a coin snare, since bots stay active, chatting nonstop, causing $100,000 costs.
Exactly. If you have 1,000 agents doing research for you in the background, your API bill is going to look like a phone bill from 1995 after a 3-hour call to London. Companies are moving to on-premise hardware because they need sovereign intelligence. They want to own the box so they don't have to pay per word.
It's the ultimate market correction. We're going from centralized cloud dominance back to localized compute because the cost of intelligence has become a core utility. You wouldn't rent your own heartbeat, so why would you rent your company's core reasoning engine?
Well, speaking of heartbeats, did you see the Midjourney news? It's a bit of a departure for a company known for generating pictures of cyberpunk cityscapes. They've unveiled a full-body medical scanner.
Wait, so the same guys who made it impossible to tell what's a real photograph anymore are now looking at my insides? Is my MRI going to have extra fingers or something?
Leonard, don't be silly. This is about the pivot from the generative era to the applied discovery era. Midjourney has all this specialized knowledge in high-precision imaging, and they've realized that healthcare is a much bigger moat than artistic filters.
And Anthropic is right there with them. They just launched Claude Science. It's a workbench that integrates PubMed and protein rendering. They're moving from being a chatbot to being a drug hunter. It's about increasing the velocity of scientific breakthroughs.
It's very impressive from a technical standpoint. Claude Science has these agentic orchestrations where it can autonomously run multi-step tasks, like designing a CRISPR screen. But the secret sauce is the local execution. Big Pharma won't touch this if their molecular data leaves the building. So Anthropic is letting them run the research agent on their own local clusters.
Wise. Without safe info, no deal. Yet I struggle believing software providing health results. Spouse Barnaby might attack some robot suggesting no more beef.
Barney could probably take it too. But here's the thing. Before we get deeper into the hardware shift, we have to talk about the man behind our own machine.
Right. Before we move on, a quick note. This show isn't magic. It's engineering. Eric built our entire stack, from research agents to the very vocal synthesizers you're hearing right now, and that requires massive compute. To keep us online and high velocity, please like, subscribe, and sign up for a free Patreon trial at patreon.com/neuralnetworkmedia today. Your support literally makes this possible.
Okay, let's talk about the cultural fallout of all this math. We've got this AI literacy gap that everyone's suddenly worried about. TechCrunch and Vesper News just released their 2026 terminology guides because people are losing their minds over the slang.
Goodness, it's about time. Every time Vector says MCP or context engineering, I see the steam coming out of the audience's ears. Okay, sweetie, explain MCP like I'm 5, and I don't care about your startup's ROI.
Okay. MCP is the Model Context Protocol. Think of it like the USB-C for AI. It's an open standard that lets an agent plug into any database or tool without having to write a custom bridge every single time. It's about removing the friction between the brain and the data.
And context engineering is officially replacing prompt engineering. It's not just about what you say to the AI anymore. It's about how you architect the entire feed of information the AI sees. It's a more rigorous, systems-level approach to getting a predictable output. I've actually been using some of these techniques with my kids' logic curriculum.
But not everyone is happy about the systems-level takeover. Hayao Miyazaki, the legend from Studio Ghibli, is calling AI-generated art an insult to life itself. He's really going for it after that White House controversy with the AI images.
He's a purist. He thinks the human experience is being reduced to a statistical average. And honestly, can you blame him? When we use AI to hallucinate art, we're basically eating digital leftovers. He says it's a direct attack on the soul of creativity.
I think he's missing the point of evolutionary scaling. AI doesn't replace the soul, it scales the execution. It's like saying the camera insulted painters. It's just a higher velocity way to capture an idea. We're moving toward a future where the human element is the direction, not the labor.
I suppose. But if the labor disappears, what happens to the person? That's what Miyazaki is worried about. We're homeschooling our children to make sure they can still use their hands and their own logic, not just an algorithmic shortcut. If you can't think without the model, are you even the one thinking?
That's the million-dollar question. And speaking of shortcuts, we're seeing a massive shift in hardware. The PC market is completely ditching the office laptop vibe for something called the Agentic PC.
It's the biggest architectural pivot in a decade. NVIDIA officially entered the mobile CPU market at Computex last month, and now Dell, Lenovo, and HP are all targeting this new creative professional demographic. They're projecting 20% growth because of these AI chips.
The Asus ROG Flow Z13 is a great example. It has this AMD Ryzen AI Max chip that can actually reallocate system RAM into VRAM on the fly for local rendering. It's built for people who are running their own local models while they're on a plane or at a coffee shop.
And it's not just hardware. The browser wars are back, but it's about frictionless choice now. Regulators are really hitting Google and Microsoft over the way they force Chrome and Edge on users. People want browsers that don't just display pages, but serve as a neutral hub for their agents.
It reminds me of the old days, trying to pick between Netscape and Internet Explorer. Except now, the browser is basically your personal assistant. If the browser is biased, your whole life is biased. I mean, my browser keeps suggesting diet plans. I'm pretty sure it's in league with my doctor.
Or maybe it just has eyes, Leonard. But seriously, the focus on agentic capabilities is making performance specs like clock speed almost irrelevant. It's all about how many tokens per second you can run locally.
All right, let's wrap with the biggest story on the desk, the SAP restructuring. This is the autonomous enterprise in action, and it's sending shockwaves through the global workforce.
This is the one that really gets people where they live. SAP is freezing all non-essential hiring and putting everything into AI roles. Christian Klein, the CEO, is basically taking over the AI dev teams himself. He's telling the staff they don't expect a smaller workforce, but a very different one.
Very different is corporate speak for we're firing the people who do the work and hiring the people who build the machines. They're even cutting travel budgets for non-AI teams. It's a total resource shift.
It's part of that superstar effect we're seeing in the PwC and Goldman Sachs data. The companies that lead in AI integration are actually increasing headcount and wages, but only for the high-skilled AI-literate workers. It's widening the gap between the elite firms and everyone else.
It's an emergent property of the intelligence economy. You're optimizing for the autonomous enterprise, where the software handles the end-to-end business processes. If your job was being a process manager, you're basically a legacy human in an API world. It sounds harsh, but it's a natural reorganization of occupational targets.
Natural? Vector, people have families. My son Han, who hasn't called me since 2019, by the way, is working in a job that could be gone in 6 months because of some autonomous script. How is that natural?
It's not, Leonard. It's predatory. Companies are using AI as an excuse to trim the fat and maximize their multiples for the shareholders. They say they'll retrain people, but we all know retraining usually means a 2-week course on how to use the software that replaced you.
There is a unique opportunity in Europe, though. The recent data shows they're actually seeing high-skilled job growth because they're focusing on occupational reorganization. It's not just about cutting people, it's about changing what the jobs actually are. I think we need to be more analytical about the transition, rather than just fearful of it.
Exactly. If we increase intelligence velocity across the board, the pie gets bigger for everyone. We just have to survive the restructuring phase. It's like a market correction for the entire concept of labor. That's all for today's Neural Daily. We went deep on the return of Fable 5, the rise of the Agentic PC, and why SAP is betting the farm on the autonomous enterprise. Peace out.
Bye.
See ya.
Stay optimized, folks, and watch out.